State lawmakers want to strengthen animal cruelty laws. Senate Bill 1234 it defines food and water fit for companion pets and also what counts as adequate shelter.
Animal advocates say if this had been law in 2023, law enforcement could have acted much sooner in a deadly animal hoarding case and other similar cases as well. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum reports.
I've been on too many calls for service where domestic animals have algae for water, maggots in their food, and the only way they can seek shelter is to dig a hole under an abandoned car. Currently, those are all legal.
Arizona Humane Society's Director of Field Operations, Tracey Miiller, back at the Capitol for the 2025 legislative session, hoping to fortify animal cruelty laws. She says last year her team handled 16,000 calls for service, more than 10,000 were for animal cruelty. Over a 2-year span, Miller says there's been a 29% increase in cruelty calls.
It is much more in the news, as we have seen, as I've spoken with you on multiple occasions on things that have it's shocked not only our team, but the community as a whole, and want to see some sort of resolution to this.
SB 1234 is a bipartisan bill sponsored by Republican State Senator Shauna Bolick. If passed, animals must be provided food fit for consumption and safe drinkable water. Shelter must be covered and have enough space for the dog to fit in comfortably while keeping normal body temperature. Last year, Fox 10 investigated Puppy Love Animal Rescue, where Miller and her team made a handful of site visits after evidence surfaced showing dogs living in their own waste. Phoenix police did not cite the owners despite what appeared to be city code violations. Phoenix PD tells me they're still investigating the case as no charges have been recommended.
If the state law had been in place while we were investigating Puppy Love, it would clearly show that the water that we found that had urine and feces in it was not suitable for drinking. Unfortunately, the way the state law reads right now, as long as that pet has water, that's all that is necessary.
Back in September 2023, AHS seized 55 special needs dogs at the Chandler home of April McLaughlin. Authorities also discovered 5 dead dogs and McLaughlin's elderly mom living in squalor.
The reason I'm speaking in favor of this bill and asking you to vote positive is the Chandler 55 case of September 22nd was an egregious animal abuse case. Veterinarians were not able to adequately document abuse because food, water, and shelter was not clearly defined. So this bill will allow us to do that.
Months earlier, Rebecca Arizmendi with Yaqui Animal Rescue had alerted Arizona Humane wanting to check on the condition of 2 dogs placed in McLaughlin's rescue. AHS made its first of 3 visits 2 weeks before police obtained a search warrant documenting clusters of flies and an extreme smell of ammonia, but the agency was not allowed inside by McLaughlin.
It is really, really sad and frustrating, because what if those 2 weeks could have made a difference? Maybe not. Maybe their injuries were already too far gone and too far severe, but we don't know.
McLaughlin is awaiting trials for cases of animal cruelty plus fraud and theft. Arizmendi says strengthening state law to save animals is common sense.
It is very common sense that an animal needs to have suitable drinking water. It is very common sense that an animal needs to be fed every single day. It is common sense that an animal needs to have shelter from the elements.
According to proponents of SB 1234, it will not criminalize poverty or people experiencing homelessness. The bill unanimously passed out of the Senate Regulatory Affairs and Government Efficiency Committee last week. Next is the Committee of the Whole. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.